Hello, my name is Kathy. I work at the Columbus Public Library. Earlier, you may have watched a video that I entitled Computer Basics Part 1, which showed you how to use the mouse and how to use your keyboard and basically what they were for. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about some of the other items that you need to use your computer. These are called peripherals. And also, we're going to take a quick look at what is considered a computer today, or other types of computers. Your tablet, if you have a Kindle, if you have an iPod, an iPad, anything along that line, it's considered a computer because you can go out on the internet on it, you can type on it, you can do many of the same things you can do with your computer, up to and including printing. Your smartphone. Everybody knows that you can do a search with Google on your smartphone. You just go, hey, Google, show me, and then you say whatever you want Google to show you. There are things called notebooks. These are static computers that really you can't add to or add programs to or software or anything like that, but you can use them with the standard Microsoft Office features, Word, PowerPoint, Access, Publisher, anything like that. You can type on them, you can get out on the internet on them, but you really can't manipulate or change the programs in any way. And then, of course, you have your standard laptop and your desktop. Now, the servers over here on the right, on the bottom line, these are something you really don't have to worry about. This is what, if you have a network of computers, would control that network of computers. Now, computers consist of two things, hardware and software. Computer hardware are the physical parts of a computer system, and this would include your computer case, your monitor, the keyboard and the mouse, and all the other parts inside of the computer case, such as the hard disk drive, which is also known as the hard drive, the motherboard, which is what controls the computer, the video card, and some other parts, which may include a fan to keep your computer cool so it doesn't overheat. Now, the hardware or the computer parts, this is what the computer case looks like for your hardware. Now, in a laptop, of course, it would be the flat computer case with the top that you open. This is what is called a desktop. And most of your desktops have the same standard features on the inside and the outside. On the outside, you would have the computer case, which covers all the inside parts, the motherboard, the hard drive, the fan, anything else that you might have in there, the CD drive, any of your drives. Some of them may still have what is called SD card readers, and I'll show you what those look like in a minute. This is if your computer does. A lot of new computers do not. Some still have what's called a CD DVD drive. Get back. And then you have your USB drives down here. There are jacks for your microphone and headphones so that you can use those if you need some privacy or if you need to do an online meeting. And then the whole kit caboodle, everything that's included with the computer, is called your central processing unit, or your CPU, which is found, of course, inside of the computer. There are different types of storage drives, external and internal, and are used by the computer to store any data that you might put onto the computer. Types of computer storage drives include a USB drive, otherwise known as a flash drive, a memory stick, a key drive, a pen drive, a thumb drive, a jump drive. I usually call it a flash drive or a jump drive, so if you hear me say those and I'm at the desk talking to you, that just means it's a USB drive. That's that external drive that looks like a long finger, and you just stick the pronged part into your USB drive on your computer. This is known as an external drive. You can save anything you want to it. And they range anywhere from 2 gigabytes up to 1 terabyte of information that can be saved on it. Then you have your DVDs and your CDs. These again are external, and they can come in 2 sizes. A lot of the newer computers are no longer putting the CD or the DVD drive on the computer. I'm sorry, that's the CD DVD drive, because that technology is slowly becoming obsolete with online streaming services, online movie services. So a lot of people are not using the DVDs or the CDs anymore. However, if you do have some information that comes on a CD, such as you've had an MRI on a body part and the doctor gives you a CD, and you want to look at it, there are external CD drives that you can get to hook into your computer that will read the CD for you. The other type of external hard drive is called a passport. And this holds a lot more information. They're called a passport because basically they're small and flat like your passport. Let me see if I can find mine real quick and I can show you what it looks like. This is what your passport looks like. It's just small and flat, and then you have a place to put in a cord, and you can put that cord into your USB drive. These range for data saving anywhere from 500 gigabytes to 5 terabytes. I mean, this is a 500 gigabyte one that I bought. I haven't even made a dent in it, and I've been saving pictures on it. So if you have a lot of data that you need to save, I would suggest investing in a passport rather than 4 or 5 USB drives, because what you can put on 4 or 5 USB drives can go on a passport. Now, internal, you have a hard drive, and each of these segments of the hard drive you can save information on. And when you delete something from the hard drive, it is not really deleted. It just opens up that space for more information. But what I recommend is, rather than saving just to the hard drive, get a USB drive or passport to back up your information. Because backing up ensures that if something happens to the computer, you still have that information available to you on an external drive that you've saved to. Now, this is what an SD card looks like. These are mainly used in cameras and phones, and again, a lot of computers are not putting the SD card readers on computer manufacturers are not putting an SD card drive on the computer anymore. So you will need to get, again, an external drive to read the SD card if you take it out of your camera or your phone. And these are available. They look like USB drives, but instead of having just the hook to hook it into the computer, it will also have a slot in it where the SD card goes, so you can download the information. And a lot of phones you can download directly from your phone onto the computer or onto another device to save the information. Some phones require external USB drives to hook it to the computer, like my phone does. Other phones you can hook directly to the computer. You just have to look at your manufacturer instructions. These are some other things that you may need in order to use. Well, most of them you'll need in order to work the computer. 2 or 3 of them you might want or you might not want. The first one, of course, is the monitor. And there are different sizes of monitors, and there are different types of monitors. If you're into gaming, though I don't think most of you would be, but if you have grandkids that are into gaming, you might want to get monitors that are specifically for gaming. There are manufacturers that make them. They can range in size from 15 inches up to, I think, about 24 inches, maybe bigger. You have your keyboards. Every computer, no matter if it's a Dell, an HP, a Lenovo, comes standard with a keyboard. Now, if you don't want wires all over the place, you can get what's called a wireless keyboard and hook that up to your computer. Then, of course, you have speakers. Those can be wireless too, so you don't have wire all over your computer table. However, many monitors today do come with built-in speakers. It just depends on the quality of the speaker. Some people don't like the internal speaker, so they get the external speakers. Some people do. Every computer, again, no matter the brand, comes with a mouse. You decide, like I have said before in the previous video, whether you like the mouse that comes with the computer, or if you want to get another one. You can get a wireless mouse. I have a wireless mouse, so I don't have a wire that sticks out of the mouse and gets in the way or gets tangled up. I love it. You may also need to get a webcam, especially if you, this day and age, if you're doing a lot of online meetings. Webcam allows you to go out over the internet and use a meeting app to join in a meeting, and they can see you face to face, not just talking. Again, many monitors come with built-in cameras, but it's up to you whether you want to use the internal camera in your monitor or get an external one. And then there's printers. There are all kinds of printers out there. There are laser printers. There are all-in-one printers, which means they print, they fax, they scan, and they copy. And you can go out over the internet on some of them too. See what your needs are before you buy a printer. Are you just going to be printing documents? Then just get a simple printer. Don't get a laser printer. Get the other kind of printer, which I can't think of. It's on the top of my head. Sorry. And if you need to do more, if you're printing pictures, there are also printers specifically for pictures. If you need to use it for business, then you might want to look into the all-in-one printers. If you need to use it for business, you might want to look into a laser printer. Inkjet printers. I'm so sorry. The other kind of printers are the inkjet printers. Those are the ones that use the small cartridges usually. Or I guess Epson has a new one where you just load the ink right into the printer. And then the laser printers are the ones that use the large cartridges, which are very expensive. That's the other reason to think about using an inkjet printer. Those are not as expensive to refill with ink. But again, just see what your needs are. Just don't go out and buy top of the line. See what you're going to be using that printer for, and then go out and buy one. Turning the computer on and off. You will always turn the computer on, and when you turn the computer on, look for this symbol. It could be, the color could be different. It could be black, it could be brown, but it will always have the white with the crosshatch in it. And that's your turn on. And it could be anywhere on your computer. It could be on top of your computer. It could be at the bottom of your computer. Might say power. It might not say anything. So just look for the button. This is an older picture. This is a picture of an older computer. Most of your power buttons do not look like this anymore. They'll look like this, the circle with the crosshatch. Now, when you have your computer up and running, you'll be on the desktop. And what you use to access anything on your computer, or search for programs or files on your computer, and manage the control panel. The control panel is what manages hardware, software, your peripherals, setting your date and time, anything like that is done through the control panel. And you can open a file from an external device using the start button. Now the start button is located on the bottom of what's called the taskbar. See if I can get to mine. Here's your taskbar down below here, and this is the start button here. So let me get back up here to the slideshow. And this is what you'll use. It's the standard Microsoft symbol, the 4 lights or the 4 windows. And this is what you'll use to get to everything on the computer. Hardware, software, control your peripherals, install something, anything like that. This is what you'll use. When you shut down the computer, you have to go through the following steps. You go to your taskbar, you'll go to the Windows icon on the bottom of the status bar, or taskbar. I call it a taskbar. You can call it a status bar. You click the power, you click on the Windows icon down here. And doesn't want to come up. And here you'll have what looks like a power symbol. If you hover over it, it says power. If you click on it, it gives you 3 options: sleep, shut down, restart. This is how you will shut down your computer. So you'll click, you'll get your Microsoft window, and you'll click the power button. It may be down here. This example has it up here. And it comes down with shut down, sleep, or restart. You'll click shut down. Don't, if you can help it, shut down your computer from the main power button. This is not good for the computer, and it can damage something, damage the hard drive, unless your computer is absolutely frozen, locked up, and you cannot get to the Windows icon button and to the shutdown button. Then you can shut it down. But it's not something you should do all the time. Shut it down from the main power button. Software are programs or applications, also known as apps, what people are calling apps, that operate instructions for a specific task based on that application. The CPU, or computer processor, carries out these instructions. These include packaged programs that come with the computer, such as your games, some databases, some word processing, and software is written for the specific computer operating system. So if you have a Windows computer, you'll get Windows software. If you have a Mac, an Apple, you'll get Mac Apple software. There's also one known as Linux, which can run, I think, on a Windows computer. I don't know if it can run on a Mac computer. If you're interested in learning more about these, we do have books available at the library. If you go to our website, cblga.org, and click on Search the Catalog, you can search the catalog for these books, put them on hold, and then when they're ready, you'll get a call, and a staff member will bring those books out to your car and put them in your trunk for you. Now, the desktop is the organization of the icons on your computer screen, which allows you to open a specific application or app. This is what the standard desktop looks like. Anything you put on this desktop will be known as a shortcut. And this is that little arrow that goes up to the right. That means it's a shortcut. It's called a shortcut because basically it's a shortcut to get to a program. Any programs I would recommend that you use a lot: word processing, getting on the internet, email, if you use the calculator, if you use photos, if you use the games a lot, if you use the Windows Media Player, anything like that you use a lot, make a shortcut for. Just follow the instructions on how to do it under the control panel. But the desktop is obviously called a desktop because it looks like the desktop of a desk. The icon, I call them icons, some people call them apps, is the image or symbol used to graphically represent the software program, file, or function on your computer. The icon makes it easier to recognize and locate items on the computer desktop and locate items on your computer or features with a specific program. And these are the ones that are usually standard with the computer. You can, though some of these might look like they were added to this computer, you pick and choose which icons you want to use, and then pick and choose which ones you want to make shortcuts from. An application, simply put, is software which allows you to perform a specific task. Applications for desktops or laptops are sometimes called desktop applications, desktop apps. Well, those on your mobile device, your cell phone, your tablet, are called mobile apps. When you open the application, it runs inside the operating system until you close it. So if you do not close the app or the application, it will keep running in the background until you notice that, oops, I didn't close that, and you go back and close that application. It won't do any harm, it just keeps running. Now, an operating system, or OS, which is the software which communicates with the hardware and allows other programs to run. It's comprised of a system software, or the fundamental files your computer needs to boot up and function. Every desktop, computer, tablet, and smartphone has an operating system which provides the functionality for the device. So like I said before, computers will have Windows or Mac OS operating system or Linux, while your smartphone, your mobile phone, may be an Apple operating system, an Android, or a Windows operating system, depending on what type of phone you have or what brand. Okay, so we've learned the types of computers that are available, turning the computer on and off, and the difference between hardware and software, operating systems, parts of a computer and storage devices, and what icons the desktop, the start button, and software are. So, we can't ask questions now, but if you do have questions, and please follow on our website, because the blog, our library blog, will give you the schedule of opening phases. So right now we're only doing contactless checkout and internal jobs within the library. Once things are in place, we will gradually be opening, so if you look at our blog, it will keep you updated on that information. So if you have questions, once we're open, you can call the Adult Services Desk at 706-243-2681, 2691. Excuse me, I apologize. That's the right number. It's 243-2691. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a nice day.
We are springing into summer learning at the Chattahoochee Valley Libraries, and the program you just attended is one of the ways you can earn completions. Just go to cvlga.org and look for Spring into Summer Learning. You can register yourself and your family online, and then start reading and attending our online events. That's all you have to do. We're giving away weekly gift certificates, and every completion you make enters you into a grand prize drawing for tablets, games, gifts, and more. Remember, you have to register to win. cvlga.org, and we'll see you online again real soon.